Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you just the one tip for tomorrow's horse racing action. Now before we get into that, let's quickly just recap on how our picks ran today. In the end it was a little bit of a disappointing day, so we just came out with a small loss, but nothing too much to worry about, as we only had 2 each way returns in the end from my selections. The first one of them was my Nap Marada. We got the each way return there. Was a fair ride, I thought, by Bridget Andrews, who was just trying to get the trip, holding her up a little bit in midfield, and then had every chance to go and win the race. But in the end, it was a good ride by the eventual winner, Harry Bannister, aboard Bourbon Beauty, who just wasn't for passing. Murata was staying on strongly in the closing stages, but just couldn't get past the eventual winner in the end. So it wasn't a bad result, but yeah, it would have been nice if that one had gone in. But yeah, you can't win them all. The other selection that ran okay for us, that gave us a little bit of each way profit, was Dania in the Lincoln, put up as my long shot of the day. Was well supported throughout the day, and a lot of market support came for Dania. Went off around about 7-1 in the end, was advertised at 17-2, but yeah, ran a respectable race to finish in 4th place. Was a little bit keen early on, but that's why this horse wears the hood, but still ran a respectable race in a very warm handicap, and I'm not complaining too much there. The disappointment of the day was Space Traveller, who was my next best, but to be honest with you, I didn't really see it, and I don't think anyone else really saw it unless you were there at Doncaster, as the camera work was atrocious. But that's actually not Sky Sports Racing or ITV Racing's fault. That's a company called Race Tech that do all the broadcasting, all the cameras, all that kind of stuff. So that's who are running the operation. But yeah, it wasn't good for the sport. And to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of all these new drone cameras and gun side shots. You know, just keep it simple. Less is more, as they say. Something I learned anyway when I was doing my masters in broadcast journalism. So yeah, just keep it to the good old traditional ways, because especially if your horse is out the back, you know, you want to see if is it coming with a good run, is it badly outpaced. You want to see what's going on in behind. So yeah, I'm not a massive fan of all these new cameras. I can understand maybe they want to try and attract new audiences to the sport, but I don't think loads of people are going to be tuning in just to watch these awesome new camera angles. You know, I think it's a complete waste of time, and I just like the good old traditional methods. But yeah, that's just me. But yeah, there was obviously a lot of backlash on the camera work at Doncaster in that race today. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get into it then. Just one tip for tomorrow's racing, and it's going to be my Nap, which runs in the 355 at Ascot. I was actually there at this meeting the last time it was run. It's the last day of Ascot's jump season. It's always a good track, Ascot, especially for the jumps. But yeah, this meeting's always good on a Sunday, and I remember I had one of my best days ever at the race course when I went to this meeting a couple of years ago. Had a nice double which actually featured one of the legs in this race, and hopefully we can find the winner in there tomorrow. So it's the 355 at Ascot, the veterans race, and I'm going to be going with a horse here called Activial for Tom Scudamore, and he's riding for Tom George. Now both are in very good form, and they actually provided us with a winning Nap that's kind of turned around our fortunes earlier in the week at Ludlow with Rock on Rocco. But yeah, Activial here is actually in the same ownership as Rock on Rocco in the Brookhouse family colours. But yeah, this horse is now arguably very well handicapped off a mark of 138. Hasn't won since I think it was back in November 2018, but does have a lot of good form on paper, and his last one in mark actually came at Haydock off a mark of 145, so he's now £7 below that, but he's been running some decent races in the last 12 months or so. Even though he finished last in the pack in the Denman Chase back in 2020, he didn't discredit himself at all that day. He wasn't beaten out of sight behind Native River, and also as well, his last time out run to Doncaster was a very good effort, I thought, behind Bow Bay and also as well Ami Dubois, and actually the handicapper dropped him £1 for that effort down to a mark of 138, so he's well in here. But yeah, I think he's got a really good chance in this race tomorrow because he's very well handicapped, and also as well, what's going to be key to him is the ground. He really does appreciate better ground, and I think that's going to serve him in really good stead here tomorrow. A lot of the horses, in my opinion, running in this race tomorrow will probably want it a little bit more easier. They probably like more softer ground. I know Present Man loves good ground, but he hasn't really been showing too much form this season, and I'm not sure if that Ascot is his track, whereas Activial, I was pleased with that run last time at Doncaster, and he's on a really attractive mark, and the yard are coming into a little bit of form. He's currently available at 7-2, I should say, with bookmakers, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet there. I think he's got solid credentials in this race tomorrow, especially with the yard coming into a little bit of good form, and Tom Scudamore is riding as well as ever. So a lot of things to like about Activial tomorrow, and that's why he's going to be my nap of the day. So if you're enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe here to my YouTube channel at LuckyLoaders15 if you haven't done so already. Also as well, if you want to follow me on social media, the only place you can do so is on Twitter, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have a winning nap tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.